The sun had barely risen over the New Horizon colony when the first plasma bolts tore through the morning sky. Jay Park was drinking his morning coffee when the first explosion rocked the settlement's outer perimeter. His hand trembled, spilling dark liquid across the ceramic mug. Alarm screamed across the colony's communication systems. Metallic ships, dark and angular, descended from the clouds like predatory birds. The Krell Dominion had arrived without warning, their weapons charged, and ready to destroy everything in their path. Colonists ran in every direction. Families clutched each other. Children screamed, and the sound of destruction echoed through the once peaceful settlement. Jay knew this was no random attack. The Krell had planned this invasion with calculated precision. His military training kicked in immediately. As the colony's defense commander, he rushed to the central communication hub. He Kim, the medical officer, was already coordinating emergency protocols. Her hands moved quickly across holographic screens, tracking the incoming threats in civilian locations. "They're targeting our infrastructure," Jay shouted over the blaring alarms. "Communications, power generators, main water supply, everything strategic." The Krell ships moved with terrifying efficiency, their weapons cut through defensive shields, like they were made of paper. Massive energy cannons obliterated buildings, turning years of human settlement into smoking ruins within minutes. Jay watched in horror as entire sections of the colony collapsed. Families he had known for years, people who had worked together to build this remote settlement, were being erased from existence. The colony's population of 50,000 was quickly becoming a potential statistic of galactic brutality. "We need to evacuate," He Kim said, her voice calm despite the chaos. She was already preparing medical transport ships, knowing that survival was now their only priority. Plasma weapons continued to rain down. The colony's defense systems, which had seemed so advanced just hours ago, were now nothing more than smoking wreckage. The Krell showed no mercy, no hesitation. Their attack was methodical, designed to crush any potential resistance. Jay coordinated the remaining defense teams. Small groups of colonists fought back with whatever weapons they could find. Farming equipment became makeshift defense tools. Personal transport vehicles were turned into barricades. But against the technological superiority of the Krell, their resistance seemed futile. "We're losing ground," a young defense officer reported, his voice breaking. Blood ran down his forehead from a recent explosion. The attack wasn't just about destruction. As the battle continued, Jay realized the Krell's true intention: capture. Large transport ships began collecting survivors, pulling them into massive holding areas. Families were separated, children torn from parents, workers pulled from their life's work. He Kim managed to coordinate the evacuation of nearly 3,217 colonists. Each survivor carried nothing but memories and the clothes on their backs. The once vibrant colony was now a landscape of smoke, fire, and total devastation. Jay watched as the last evacuation ship lifted off. His own transfer was delayed, ensuring every possible survivor had a chance to escape. The weight of leadership pressed down on his shoulders. He had failed to protect his people, yet he had saved what he could. As the ship carrying the survivors broke through the planet's atmosphere, Jay looked back. New Horizon was no longer a symbol of human achievement, but a testament to galactic brutality. The Krell had made their statement. No human settlement was safe. Little did the Krell know, they had not destroyed humanity's spirit. They had awakened something far more dangerous: human anger. The survivors carried with them not just loss, but a burning desire for justice. Each person on that evacuation ship shared a single thought: revenge would come, and it would be swift. He Kim approached Jay, her medical bag slung over her shoulder. "We're alive," she said simply. It was both a statement of fact and a promise of resistance. As the ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind the ruins of New Horizon, Jay Park made a silent promise. The Krell would pay for what they had done. Humanity would not be a victim. They would be a force of reckoning. The Earth looked different now. Gone were the days of political divisions and global competitions. The attack on New Horizon Colony had transformed humanity into a single, focused machine of survival and revenge. In Geneva's massive underground command center, military leaders and scientists worked around the clock. Wu Li, the primary strategic analyst, spread holographic maps across the central planning room. Each map showed potential attack routes, enemy technologies, and human vulnerabilities. "We have exactly 72 hours to prepare a response," Wu announced to the gathered experts. His fingers danced across digital interfaces, pulling data from every human settlement and research facility. Min Park, the chief engineering specialist, had already begun developing something extraordinary. Her team worked on quantum adaptive weapon systems that could change molecular structure mid-flight. Traditional weapons were obsolete. They needed something the Krell would never expect. Su Choi, leading the xenotechnology research, examined, captured fragments from the New Horizon attack. Each piece of alien technology told a story. She was translating that story into humanity's survival blueprint. Military recruitment centers around the world saw unprecedented numbers. Veterans who had retired years ago returned. Young people who once dreamed of peaceful careers now wanted to fight. The global population understood one thing. This was about survival. Governments merged resources. Space agencies that once competed now shared every piece of technological knowledge. Factories that once produced consumer goods now manufactured advanced weapons and defensive systems. Universities suspended normal operations. Every research facility became a potential weapon development center. Physicists worked alongside military strategists. Computer scientists developed neural-linked combat interfaces that could predict enemy movements faster than any alien technology. "We're not just building weapons," Min Park explained during a global broadcast. "We're creating a new understanding of combat technology." The adaptive weapon systems were revolutionary. They could change their attack pattern based on enemy defenses. If a shield blocked one frequency, the weapon would instantly recalibrate. No alien defense would remain impenetrable. Psychological warfare became another critical strategy. Wu Li's team developed communication algorithms designed to analyze and predict alien response patterns. They weren't just preparing to fight. They were preparing to understand and manipulate their enemy's thinking. Rapid prototype manufacturing. Centers appeared in every major city. What used to take months now took hours. Weapon designs could be transmitted globally and produced within minutes. The entire human infrastructure had transformed into a single, unified war machine. Military training changed completely. Virtual reality simulations allowed soldiers to experience thousands of potential battle scenarios. They trained against AI systems that mimicked alien tactical approaches. Every soldier became a strategic thinker, not just a weapon carrier. So, Choi's xenotechnology research revealed something unexpected. The Krell's technological advantages were not as insurmountable as initially believed. They had weaknesses, predictable communication patterns, specific energy consumption limitations. "We don't just fight," Sue told her research team. "We understand." Global communication networks were reinforced. Quantum encryption made human communication virtually unhackable. The Krell would find no easy digital pathways into human systems. Space. Construction yards worked continuously. New warships were designed with mobility and adaptability as primary considerations. These weren't just vessels. They were living, thinking combat platforms. Medical research accelerated alongside weapon development. New treatments could help soldiers recover faster, enhance physical capabilities, and provide unprecedented battlefield survival rates. Wu Li's final report was simple and direct. Humanity was ready, not just prepared, but transformed. The attack on New Horizon had awakened something primal and intelligent within the human species. As the 72-hour preparation period ended, every human settlement, every research facility, every military installation stood ready. They weren't waiting to be attacked. They were preparing to attack. The Krell had made a critical mistake. They had not destroyed humanity. They had united it. And now, humanity was coming for them. The first strike came without warning, precise, calculated, devastating. J. Park stood, on the bridge of the USS Horizon, named after the colony that had been destroyed. His eyes reflected the holographic displays showing Krell Central Systems. Around him, a crew of carefully selected soldiers waited in absolute silence. "Target locked," announced the weapons specialist, her fingers hovering above the activation panel. The human fleet moved like a synchronized dance. Each ship knew its exact position, its exact purpose. No wasted movement, no unnecessary communication. They were a single organism with one goal: retribution. Quantum adaptive missiles launched first. They looked like silver needles against the darkness of space, moving faster than any tracking system could predict. Each missile carried a unique signature, designed to penetrate the most advanced alien defensive networks. The Krell didn't even have time to understand what was happening. First, their communication networks collapsed. Entire planetary defense systems went dark within milliseconds. The human technology was so advanced that the Krell communication arrays simply stopped functioning. Navigation systems on Krell ships began giving random, impossible instructions. Massive warships suddenly changed directions, colliding with each other. What seemed like chaos was actually a perfectly orchestrated digital assault. "Precision strike teams are in position," Wu Li's voice came through the communication system. Sitting thousands of miles away in the Strategic Command Center, he was conducting this symphony of destruction. The first wave targeted military infrastructure, weapon production facilities, strategic command centers, orbital defense platforms. All vanished, not destroyed in traditional ways, but systematically neutralized with surgical accuracy. He Kim, now serving as the fleet's medical strategist, monitored the psychological impact. Her systems tracked enemy communication channels, analyzing stress levels and decision-making patterns of Krell leadership. "They're confused," she reported. "Total system breakdown." Jay watched as entire Krell military sectors went silent. No explosions, no dramatic destruction, just complete technological shutdown. It was more terrifying than any traditional attack. Min Park's adaptive weapon systems performed beyond expectations. When Krell defensive shields attempted to activate, the human weapons instantly recalibrated. They passed through like ghosts, rendering billions of credits of alien defense technology completely useless. Small strike teams infiltrated key Krell facilities. They moved like shadows, collecting critical data, planting sophisticated monitoring devices. Each team knew exactly where to go, what to do, with zero margin for error. The psychological warfare was deliberate. Humanity wasn't just attacking. They were sending a message: we are here, we are capable, and we will not be victims. Suchoi's xenotechnology research paid off in unexpected ways. Human teams discovered and exploited fundamental technological weaknesses in Krell systems that the aliens themselves hadn't recognized. Complete information blackout in Sector 7, a young communication specialist reported, her voice steady. The entire operation took less than 6 hours. When it was over, the Krell didn't just lose a battle. They lost their sense of technological superiority. Jay Park allowed himself a small smile. This wasn't revenge. This was a statement. As the USS Horizon pulled away from the Krell Central Systems, the extent of the human strike became clear. No civilian casualties, no unnecessary destruction. A precise, calculated response that demonstrated humanity's true capabilities. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. The Krell leadership, those who survived, would soon understand a fundamental truth. When humans are pushed, they don't just push back. They transform conflict into an art form of strategic brilliance. This was more than a battle. This was a revolution. News of humanity's first strike spread faster than light itself. Alien civilizations watched in a mixture of horror and fascination. The once peaceful diplomatic zones now buzzed with nervous energy. Jay Park stood before the Galactic Council, surrounded by representatives from 100 different species. His uniform was simple. His message was not. "We did not start this conflict," he said, his voice cutting through translation systems. "But we will finish it." Some alien races wanted to support the Krell. Others saw an opportunity to remain neutral. A few secretly celebrated the Krell's unexpected defeat. The Battle of Crimson Nebula became legendary, almost instantly. Human ships moved through the complex spatial environment like living creatures. They anticipated enemy movements before the enemies themselves knew their own plans. Wu Li's strategic algorithms worked perfectly. Each human ship communicated with others through quantum entanglement networks. No delay, no miscommunication. They were a single thinking organism. Krell allies attempted counterattacks. They brought massive warships, advanced weapon systems, technological marvels developed over thousands of years. Within hours, these impressive machines became floating graveyards. Min Park's adaptive weapon systems continued to surprise everyone. When alien ships tried new defensive techniques, human weapons instantly recalibrated. It was like fighting an enemy that could read minds and predict every possible move. Suchoi's research team discovered something remarkable. The human technological approach wasn't just about superior hardware. It was about understanding fundamental principles of conflict that most species ignored. "We don't just fight," she would later explain. "We understand the psychology of conflict." The siege of Outer Rim territories became a turning point. Human forces didn't just defend. They strategically dismantled entire military infrastructures without destroying civilian populations. He Kim managed medical and humanitarian efforts. Injured soldiers from multiple species received treatment. Human medical technology was so advanced that species who had been enemies days ago now found themselves saved by human doctors. Alien communication networks began spreading stories, not of human brutality, but of human precision. Not of mindless destruction, but of calculated response. Some galactic races started requesting human protection. Trading routes that were once dangerous now became safe zones. The mere presence of human ships changed the entire economic and political landscape. The tactical blockade of Krell supply routes was a masterpiece of strategic thinking. No dramatic battles, no massive explosions, just a complete shutdown of resource movement that crippled entire military systems. J. Park understood something critical. This wasn't just about defeating the Krell. This was about reshaping galactic understanding of conflict and power. Diplomatic zones became interesting places. Species that had been enemies for centuries now found themselves discussing potential collaborations. The human approach to conflict was revolutionary. "They don't want territory," one alien diplomat was overheard saying. "They want understanding." Human technology wasn't just advanced, it was intelligent, adaptive, almost alive. Each battle demonstrated something profound. Humanity had transformed from a seemingly minor species to a galactic power that could not be ignored. The psychological impact was perhaps more significant than any military victory. Alien civilizations began re-examining their own technological and strategic approaches. Wu Li's team continued monitoring galactic responses. Every communication, every subtle diplomatic shift was analyzed. Nothing was left to chance. As the confrontation continued, one thing became clear. Humanity was not seeking domination. They were seeking respect, protection, a fundamental right to exist without threat. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading that change, not through brutal force, but through intelligence, precision, and an unwavering commitment to protecting their own. The confrontation was far from over, but the message was crystal clear. The Galactic Confederation chamber fell silent when J. Park entered. Representatives from 100 different species watched, some with fear, some with respect, most with a mixture of both. "We are not here to destroy," Jay began, his voice calm and steady. "We are here to ensure it never happens again." The terms were simple, but their implications were revolutionary. Complete Krell military disarmament would happen immediately. Every weapon system, every battleship, every offensive technological platform would be neutralized, not destroyed, transformed. Reparations weren't just about money. They were about restoration. Every destroyed human colony would be rebuilt. Not just rebuilt, improved. advanced infrastructure, better protection, enhanced living conditions. The non-aggression treaties carried unexpected conditions. Any species, considering aggressive action against protected territories, would face immediate technological isolation. No trade, no communication, complete galactic quarantine. Wu Li had designed these terms carefully. They weren't punitive, they were preventative. Su Choi's research team stood ready. They would help transform Krell military technologies into peaceful scientific research platforms. Weapons would become exploration tools. Battleships would become research vessels. He Kim managed the humanitarian aspects. Displaced populations from multiple species would receive support. Medical technologies would be shared. Healing would happen not just physically, but culturally. The Krell leadership had no choice. Their technological systems were completely compromised, their military infrastructure destroyed, their economic networks in chaos. "We accept," their lead representative said, voice trembling. Jay Park knew this was about more than punishment. This was about creating a new galactic understanding. Min Park's engineering teams were already designing collaborative research stations, places where different species could work together, learn together, grow together. The restoration of human colony populations became a galactic project, not just rebuilding settlements, but creating something stronger, more resilient, alien species. Watched in amazement. Humanity could have demanded total destruction of the Krell. Instead, they chose a path of strategic rehabilitation. "We are not seeking revenge," Jay explained to the assembled representatives. "We are seeking understanding." Each condition in the treaty carried a deeper message: technological sharing, cultural exchange, mutual protection protocols. The Krell would become a monitored, rehabilitated civilization. Their aggressive tendencies would be channeled into peaceful pursuits. Quantum communication networks would ensure transparency. No secret military buildups. No hidden aggressive preparations. Wu Li's strategic algorithms would continue monitoring potential conflict zones, not as a weapon, but as a peacekeeping mechanism. The first human-led galactic peacekeeping force was established. Not a military organization. A diplomatic and protective network designed to prevent future conflicts. Su Choi's team developed early warning systems, technologies that could detect potential conflict sources before they escalated. He Kim established medical and cultural exchange programs. Understanding would happen through shared knowledge, not through weapons. The treaty signing was more than a political moment. It was a cultural transformation. Alien species began to understand something profound. Humanity's strength was not in destruction. It was in adaptation, in understanding, in the ability to turn potential enemies into potential partners. Jay Park looked around the chamber. Fear had been replaced with curiosity. Anger had been replaced with respect. "We are not conquerors," he said softly. "We are guardians." The Galactic Confederation had changed, and humanity had changed it, not through violence, but through intelligence, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to a better future.